Hello friends, today I am here to talk about on the chapter The Tiger King, written by Karl Key. About the author Ramaswamy Iyer Krishnamurti was born on 9 September 1899 and died on 5 December 1954. He was better known by his pen name Kalki and was a Tamil writer, journalist, poet, critic, and Indian independence activist. His notable works were Ponnaniyin Selvan and Shivagamiyin Sabadam. His notable awards were Sahitya Academy Award for Alai Osai.
My dear friends, you might have came across wonderful stories full with imagination, creativity, and talking of the best part of human life. There are stories dealing with violence. There are stories dealing with forest life. There are stories, detective sort of thing. There are stories of romance. And authors many a time adopt various tools for narrativizing the story. And here we are going to talk of Kalki, a very famous name who is dealing with the story with popular literary devices of irony and farce. The story also talk of royal lives. It also deals with astrology and how the life in palace can be. Everything is so royal, princely, and above all, so touching. But the tools that he adopts to narrativize this story has not all deals with karma, theory of karma propounded by Bhagavad Gita. Rather, it has to deal with the destiny of a prince born in a royal palace. And it also talk of the life of that royal prince, how he faced his destiny as projected by the astrologers, how the course of his destiny and foretelling of soothsayers came true, and how the story reaches its maturity. Here, the newly born prince of the royal family projected that he will be very brave, he will be king of kings, warrior of warriors, and he will make a history, make a mark in his life. His life will be very, very royal. But, but, this is a big question. For a royal family and without revealing the mystery of destiny, the soothsayer stopped telling anything, and ultimately he is revealing the mystery behind the death of newly born prince, who is hardly 10 days old. And he said that the prince will be warrior of warriors, and he will kill 99 tigers. But he will kill 99 tigers, but he will be killed by the 100th tiger. So, talking of all these things, story turns to the really attached title, The Tiger King, whose whole life surrounds around the forest. His life surrounds around animal, hunt, valor, and palatial riches. He was very selecting in his life partner. And one of the very beautiful thing is that author Kalki has used farce, humor, and irony as the pivotal tool to narrativize this story, and that was successfully dominating the whole canvas of the theme, The Tiger King. Just for talking about the storyline and projecting how the plot grows up the story, The Tiger King, I would like to invite Miss Parvati Rajendra Kumar Anayat to focus on or to reveal the canvas of the story by telling about the story The Tiger King, which has on its canvas the colors of astrology, the colors of soothsaying, colors of destiny, dominating over the karma, and also having a lot many things that spreads on the pages as the colors of rainbow. So without wasting much time, it voice is over to Miss Parvati Rajendra Kumar Anayat.
The hero of the story is Maharaja of Pratibandhapuram. He is being identified with different names. Sir Jilani Jang Bahadur, Khiledar Major, M.A.D. and C.R.C.K. This story tells us that how Maharaja of Pratibandhapuram came to be known as the Tiger King. As Bharata said to Rama about Dasharatha, Tiger King has reached the final abode of all the living creatures. In other words, the Tiger King is dead. I know that you all are interested to know the mystery behind his death, but that would be revealed only at the end of the tale. As soon as he was born, the chief astrologer said, Tiger King have to die someday, but he would grow up into warrior of warriors, champion of champions, and heroes of heroes. But this is actually said to be kept as a secret, but the astrologer was forced to reveal it. The chief astrologer said, when the child born under this star would surely have to face death one day. At this moment, a miraculous thing happened. A 10-day-old child uttered speech by opening its lips, saying that, "O wise prophets," they all were startled and started to blink at each other. The baby continued, "O wise prophets, it was I who spoke." The chief astrologer was also astonished, and he took out the spectacles and intently gazed on the baby. The baby continued, "Everyone born on this earth has the right to die and will die one day. It would make it sense if you could tell me that what is the manner of that death." The chief astrologer was astonished, and he said that a barely 10 days old baby uttering speech from his mouth, and not only that, it also raises intelligent questions. It's incredible. This spread as a rumor rise in the village of Pratibandhapuram. The king grew taller and stronger day by day, and he drank the milk of an English cow, and he was tutored by an English teacher. He only spoke English and only watched English films. He attained the age of 20 after some years. People started talking about the predictions that the chief astrologer had made. They even started discussing about it. Slowly, this reached Maharaja's ears. So, his anxiety and excitement grew for killing a tiger. Maharaja was thrilled when he killed the first tiger, and he sent for the state astrologer to show this dead beast and said, "What do you command of me now?" The astrologer said, "Your Majesty, you would be able to kill 99 tigers exactly in the same manner, but you have to be cautious with the 100th tiger." Maharaja said, "What happened if I killed the 100th tiger?" Astrologer said, "Then I would burn my astrology book, set it on fire. I would cut off my tuft and shorten my hair, and I would join as an insurance agent." He said it in a very illogical manner. From that day onwards, it was a celebration for the tigers inhabiting the village of Pratibandhapuram, because nobody was allowed to kill the tiger, nor they were not even allowed to fling a stone at it, except the Maharaja. And if they did so, their wealth and property were confiscated. Maharaja even made a vow that he would look into the state matters only after killing the 100 tigers. Not that Maharaja has never faced danger. One day, it was a threat to his own throne. One day, a British officer visited Maharaja, requesting him to conduct a tiger hunt. But Maharaja refused this proposal. He said, "I could even conduct a boar hunt, or even a mouse hunt, or even a mosquito hunt. But tiger hunt, that's impossible." The British officer sent a word with the Diwan to the Maharaja saying that, "I only wanted to capture the photograph with the tiger, but I let the Maharaja kill the tiger." Even that proposal was also refused by Maharaja. He ordered 50 diamond rings for the British officer's wife from the British Company of Calcutta. The British officer's wife thanks for gifting her with such beautiful gifts. So he had.
Even before that, what happened? A very interesting thing happened. The king said that you can go for a lion hunt, you can go for any other beast hunt, you can go for the boar hunt, or even he was ready for the mouse hunt. But tigers, question doesn't arise. King didn't agree at any cost for the tiger hunt, and the officer had to return with the great detest. He was not ready to agree on such proposal, and it was a chance of putting the whole kingdom into a great threat. And this is how in order to sort out this problem, the king ordered to a British jeweler for diamond rings.
And this was gifted to the British officer's wife. She thanked for gifting her with such diamond rings. So a bill of 3 lakh rupees arrived at the king's kingdom, and he paid it. He said that although he paid 3 lakh rupees, he was able to save his kingdom. Within 10 years, Maharaja had killed 70 tigers. But the tiger population of the village Pratibandhapuram got extinct He thought that whether these tigers were committing some suicide or are they running away from the forest in order to get shoot up by the British officers.
But obviously, this was not a harakiri by the tigers.
Maharaja sent for Diwan and told him that, don't you know, Diwan Sahib, that still 30 tigers are remaining to be shot by this gun? Brandishing his gun, he said. Shuddering at this sight, Diwan Sahib said, no, I am not a tiger. So Maharaja said, which idiot would call you as a tiger? No, I am not a gun. You are neither a gun nor a tiger. I have summoned you here for a different purpose. Maharaja said, I want to get married. Diwan Sahib began to babble even more. He said, I already have 2 wives. If you marry me, don't talk nonsense. I want a tiger, he said. Diwan Sahib said, Maharaja, please think over it. Your ancestors were married to a sword. If you want to marry, you can marry a gun. He said, there is already a tiger king for our place. We don't need a tiger queen as well. Maharaja bursted out laughing. He said to Diwan Sahib that you investigate a royal family where you can get a girl where there are more tiger population. Each time when Maharaja visited his father-in-law's house, he killed 5 or 6 tigers. Therefore, 99 tiger skins hanged on the wall of the Pratibandhapuram palace. The Maharaja's anxiety and excitement grew day by day because he came to know that he still had one more tiger to get killed. He even thought that he would give up tiger hunting after killing that one beast. But the tiger population in his father-in-law's kingdom also became extinct. Maharaja was sunk in gloom. In order to remove his sadness, a happy news arrived in his kingdom. He came to know that sheep had been disappearing from a hillside village in his own state. But he could ascertain that this work was not done by Veerasamy Naicker because who was expert in doing this. So he finally concluded that the tiger was at work. So he set out to the forest for tiger hunt. But before that, he gave a warning to the Diwan Sahib that you have to get me the tiger to me. Otherwise, the results would be catastrophic. Diwan Sahib and his aged wife went to People's Park in Madras and got the tiger from there, and they hid it in their house. When the night was peaceful, Diwan Sahib and his aged wife pushed the tiger into the car, and they drove to the forest. When they reached the forest, the tiger launched a satyagraha. But although they were exhausted, they managed to push the tiger out of the car. And the tiger was persuaded towards the Maharaja. When Maharaja saw the tiger, he was happy. And he took the gun and he shot the tiger. But he missed his mark. And Maharaja hastened away in his car. And when this Diwan Sahib and the hunters went and saw, they came to know that this tiger was not dead. And if they didn't kill the tiger, then they would lose their jobs. One of the hunters went forward and shot the tiger. This time they didn't miss their mark. And the tiger was taken to the palace. The tiger's dead body was taken to the palace, and a tomb was erected for it. A few years later, it was Maharaja's son's 3rd birthday. He thought of buying a special gift for him, but he couldn't find anything suitable. But finally he found a toy tiger in a shop and he got it for his son. And father and son was playing with the toy tiger. The toy tiger was carved by an unskilled carpenter. The silver of wood rose up. One of the silver pierced into Maharaja's right hand and he pulled it out with his left hand. The next day when he saw infection was there in his right hand. When it was extended to 4 days, it developed into a suppurating sore. And finally, 3 surgeons were brought from Madras in order to operate his right arm. After they came out of the operation theatre, the surgeons told, "The operation was successful, but the Maharaja is dead." In this manner, the 100th tiger took revenge of the king, that is Maharaja. Thank you all.
Thus, the operation was successful and Maharaja was dead, and in this manner, the 100th tiger took its final revenge upon the Tiger King. The story begins with very fine saying that in the terms of simile, see how skillfully literary devices has been used. As Bharata said to Rama about Dasaratha, the Tiger King has reached that final abode of all living creatures. And in other words, the Tiger King is dead. And this mystery behind the death of that Tiger King was revealed with the skillful paintings offered by Kalki. His imagery, his craftsmanship as author, his creativity of projecting the forest story of a royal prince who turned into a groomed king, his adolescent, his married life, and the glamour, and ultimately his extreme fondness for tigers, all were skillfully painted by none other than Kalki. Such a sweet story that talks of the Tiger King. See, the death of the Tiger King is pronounced at the very beginning of the story and in a very telling manner. As Bharata said to Rama about Dasaratha, the Tiger King has reached that final abode of all living creatures. And in other words, the Tiger King is dead. This story proceeds further. First, the death of the Tiger King is announced, and the story proceeds beyond the measure, the mystery revealed step by step that how the Tiger King is going to be killed. And surprisingly, this Tiger King killed 100 tigers in his opinion, but the rule of destiny is displayed here skillfully. The Tiger King, in his impression, was able to kill 100 tigers. That was what the Tiger King was thinking. But the Tiger King couldn't kill the 100th tiger. Rather, and he purchased, because of his too much fondness for tiger, he purchased a wooden tiger for his prince. And while playing with that wooden tiger, destiny played. While the Tiger King was playing with his son with the wooden tiger, the destiny was playing its course with the king. Again, I repeat this remarkable point. Towards the end of the story, when the Tiger King was playing with his prince with wooden tiger, the destiny was taking its course, and he was having his death by the toy tiger, not the real tiger. So the 100th tiger was not killed by the king in the real sense, and even the king was not killed by the tiger in the real sense. But how destiny took its course, the Tiger King died because of a tiger. Because of his fondness for tiger became the root cause of his death. And here destiny's role came into exhibition. Stars played their role as forecasted by soothsayers, and Tiger King meet his end not by the real tiger but by the very dull wooden tiger. And his love, fondness, courage, attachment, possessiveness, obsession for the thought of tiger became the root cause of his death. Thus, the toy tiger became more powerful and more dangerous than the real forest tiger. This story also projects that one cannot change the course of destiny, whatsoever hard he may try, and thus it can be concluded saying that what is plotted can't be blotted, and thus ends the miraculous story of the Tiger King. And here lies the craftsmanship of Kalki, who was able to create such a beautiful story that captures the attention of whole audience, and without keeping his mind away from the canvas of the story. That's all about the Tiger King, and this is how ends the story. Thank you. Humor, irony, farce, simile, everything, and using destiny as the tool completes the canvas of the story, and it captures all these colors and converts it into a colorful rainbow, where little exposure to the romantic life of the king and his romancing with the tiger comes to the reaches its summit and gets its climax and ultimately concludes over there. That's it for the Tiger King and its course. Thank you.